All right, guys, here we go. One going up for sale that is probably a collector type item for somebody out there. I've sold some of these before. I don't know if I've ever had the 800. I have had the Galaxy 1000 and I think maybe a couple of the smaller ones, but this is the Galaxy 800. This one is in really nice shape. One drive and three on the tubes, I believe. You guys can see in there. Your one back there in the back, and then three in the front. I haven't taken the covers off to see what kind of tubes it runs. I won't put this out there. I do prefer local pickup on this one. It's going to save you a lot of money if you pick it up in person. I'm going to list it locally as well. If someone demands that I ship it, you might as well go ahead and bank on paying an extra $100 for this thing, because no, it's not going to cost $100 to ship it, but with the risk involved, the packing material, and everything else, I'm probably going to have to upcharge it just because the risk of shipping one of these. So definitely prefer local pickup on it. I understand that cuts off a lot of the people that would be interested in buying it. That's why I'm mentioning it right here up front in the video. So let's talk about it a little bit. It is a bass amp, runs on 110. It is going to be a low drive amp. When I say low drive, I don't recommend running anything really stronger than like a Cobra 29, Uniden, Cobra 148, Washington, Cobra 2000. You guys kind of get the point. The 20 to 35 watt PEP radios, 8 to 10 or 11 watts average. That's what I recommend putting into them. Now, what are we going to drive it with? A little Uniden 68 LTX that we use out here on this test bench. Does about 35 PEP, 8 to 9 watts average power, modulated average power. Has two tuners on the front of it. Just the same premise as any other tube amp. You tune them for peak output. It was a little bit out of tune when I hooked it up, so when you've got an amp that's a little out of tune, you will have to bounce back and forth between the tuners to get it maxed out for max power. Now, I've covered this in the past. When people tell you to peak them out for max power and then detune them a little bit, bad information. I don't care what anybody says out there. I've tuned my amps the same way ever since I've had tube amps, and hardly ever, almost never wear out tubes. When you detune them, that is worse for the tubes than overdriving them. And I generally say my opinion on stuff because I don't like to come off as a know-it-all, but that's not an opinion. That is a fact. If you detune these amps after maxing them out on the maximum output, it will wear the tubes out. So don't detune them. Tune them for maximum output and don't overdrive them. The only way you're going to hurt this amp tuning it for maximum output is if you overdrive it, you hit it with a dual final radio or something. All right. So you just tune it, audio, max output, give it a break, give it a rest, audio, max output on the meter, give it a rest, then bounce back to this one, bounce back to that one. As you see your power go up, let's say you max it out here, you will have to go to this tuner, because as it increases over here, you'll have to tune it a little bit over here until you get that optimal maximum output number. Okay, just really easy, really simple. One of the worst things you can do, though, is to sit there and audio just on and on and on and stay keyed up for, minutes doing that. You'll flatten the tubes that way. Doesn't take long to figure out if you're in tune or not. 5 to 10 seconds. Audio. Okay. Next tuner. Audio. Okay. Give it a rest. Back to this one. All right. Receive preamp does work. You can hear it make a difference on the receive and the radio, which is kind of uncommon to see that, but that is your receive preamp, and it does work. It does have a high and low. We'll see if the high and low works. I just tuned it on high. I didn't even check it on low, so we'll find out together if that works. Sideband delay also works. Okay. If you want to run on sideband, be my guest. You're going to be risking overdriving it. So if you run on sideband, be careful. Operate and standby does work. So we put it in standby, it doesn't key. Put in operate, you see that it does key. And you also see that your little indicator meter's up here working, which I'm assuming they just have it in there If you don't have a watt meter, just to use it to kind of help tune it. But other than that, it really doesn't really seem to. Yeah, I don't know what it's rating besides just kind of a relative output meter. Now this switch over here was added, and in the down position the fan is on in the back. The up position the fan turns off. I just leave it on all the time. Unless you're just turning it on to warm it up and you don't want the fan on until you get ready to talk on it, okay, whatever. If you want to do that, that's fine. But if you're going to, I would just leave it in the down position and leave the fan running all the time. Look at the top of it. There's your fan on the back. Again, this is a really clean amp and kind of a collector's item. They're fairly rare. I don't see a lot of them out there. They bring pretty good money. So kind of cool to get one in here on trade. It's been sitting here for probably 2 or 3 weeks. I was holding my breath when I hooked it up, hoping that it worked, and it seems to work well. So let's get into the output test of it, and we'll get this guy wrapped up. Again, when I list it on the website, I will include the shipping price into the price on the website. If you want to buy it in person, cash pickup, you can save yourself about $100 on this thing. No shipping to Alaska or Hawaii on it, okay? Because that is going to be insane, shipping it out there. I got a lot of good folks I deal with in both states, but when it comes to shipping something like this out there, unless you want to pay that crazy price to ship it, I'd just rather not. I'd rather not ship it at all. But if somebody wants to pay, you're dying to have one of these, I'll try to help you out. All right, guys. Let's get over here to our watt meter, and we're going to start out on average power. We've got a 1,000 watt slug in here, so we're looking at the bottom scale. And I did tune it and have left it running since the video, so hopefully it's held a tune, and that'll be a good indicator of how strong our tubes are. Hello, audio. Audio. Hello. About 200 average there. So not a ton of average power, about 200. PEP. Hello, audio, 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 audio. About 750 to 775 PEP there. So when I did tune it, I had it up to almost 800. It's fell in place at about 775. That's not really a bad sign. Now, if I had tuned it for 800 and it had fallen down to, 550 or 600, I'd say, oh, we got a tube problem here. So tubes, I would say, just by that, you may have one that's 80% and the rest are like 90% or something. That's just an estimate, but 775 PEP out of an 800 watt amp, pretty solid numbers in my opinion. Let's go down to low, see what it does. This is low power. Audio, check, 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 audio, 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 check, 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 audio. And it shows about 700 on low. Let's see if the dead key changes much. There's your dead key on low. There's your dead key on high. Audio, audio. It goes over 200 now, so after talking on it a little bit, once it got a little bit warmer, it came up in power some, just a little bit, not anything crazy. But that's it, guys. Galaxy 800, kind of cool to do a video on this, something different. I always like to try to do different stuff here on the channel, new stuff, used stuff, talk about some different topics, do something a little bit different so you guys don't get burnt out on the same videos all the time. And one reason I like to take used equipment in on trade is just to get to kind of check stuff like this out. But it's a Galaxy 800. Is it perfect? I wouldn't say it's perfect, but probably going to be pretty hard pressed to find another one like this one in this kind of condition. Even the addition of the other switch over here, doesn't look bad. Alrighty, guys, appreciate it. Rooster in Tennessee, roostercb.com. Let me know what you think. Sweep tube amp, 110 volts, Galaxy 800. Thanks, everybody. Rooster in 10. See you, bye.